I swear I've seen it there before. Low clouds make it busy.